So there has been a quite interesting development in global energy politics. After initial talks in Switzerland, the US government has issued a temporary 60 days sanctions waiver on Iranian oil. This has provided a window of opportunity to countries for carrying out energy trade with Iran. Tehran is also eager to offload a massive backlog of oil, as close to 70 million barrels of Iranian crude is floating at sea on tankers. Iran wants to offload this backlog, clear this backlog. The tankers are idling in waters and most of this backlog has no fixed destination. This is the reason Iran is aggressively offering steep discounts to buyers. Iran has also made a lucrative offer to Indian refineries, which has generated an opportunity for Indian refiners to purchase Iranian oil at a discount. Given the short distance, some cargoes could reach Indian refineries in just 2 to 3 days. And Indian refineries can get Iranian oil at $3 to $4 per barrel discount compared to similar regional benchmarks. But still, Indian refineries are hesitant to dive back in immediately. Indian refineries are not rushing in to purchase Iranian oil immediately. They are weighing the option with extreme caution. And what is the reason behind that? See, oil procurement is not done day to day. It is not like fruits and vegetables, where you go to the market and purchase. We need to understand how oil moves around the world. It takes months of meticulous planning, massive infrastructure coordination to move oil. Oil is not like a commodity that you can just buy off a shelf in a supermarket. You have to lock in your oil supply. Countries fill their crude requirements for the next few months. They enter into term contracts. And you have to honor your commitments to absorb the volume that you have logged in. There are rigid contracts in place. So you do not have much flexibility when it comes to oil purchase. Of course, there is spot buying. But majority of oil that refineries buy is through term contracts, through long-term annual agreements directly with mega oil companies. This way, it guarantees a steady volume of oil every month for a year. So if suddenly a discounted oil opportunity has emerged, it is not like Indian refineries would like to ignore their term contract, because failing to honor a term contract destroys a crucial relationship. It threatens your long-term energy security, especially when there is a lot of uncertainty attached with Iranian oil. The US government has given just a 60-day waiver. This is an incredibly short period for trading a commodity like oil. Even if you make spot deals, you buy on spot market, still you have to understand that even spot deals are negotiated weeks or months before the oil actually moves. You have to restructure complex logistics, production blends, supply chains. A refinery does not plan its production day to day. It usually works on a rolling calendar that looks months into the future. It is not like you are processing a certain type of blend today and tomorrow you will just switch it and start processing another type of blend. It doesn't happen like that. Plus, given the fact how unreliable US policy is, there is always a fear attached that the US can switch its policy anytime and you could be exposed to sudden sanctions. That is why Indian refineries are proceeding with caution. Oil refineries are highly customized to process specific type of crude. You have to consider how light or heavy the crude is. That is what its API gravity is. Then you also have to consider how sweet or sour it is. In other words, what is the sulfur content? So a refinery is highly customized to process a specific grade of oil. You cannot disrupt your entire chemical balance of the refinery by suddenly buying a massive shipment of a different grade of oil. If you want to change your refinery's mix, it requires weeks of engineering calculations. Just because a different grade of oil is available at a discount, the refinery mix cannot be changed overnight for that. Then an oil tanker is not like a taxi that you can book in minutes. You have to book the shipping capacity weeks in advance, because ports operate on strict allocated slots. There is only a limited amount of containers that you can handle at a time. Then there are a lot of other factors that you need to consider, like how fast can you unload your oil into pipelines, or where the oil sits in the storage tanks. Just because an oil is available at a discount, you cannot just rush in to buy, because sudden influx of unexpected oil will create a logistical challenge. Are you equipped to handle it, to store it? You'll have to see these things. If you do not plan these things beforehand, then ships will be idling at the sea. That results into massive financial penalties, which are called demurrage, and they are really huge. They can easily wipe off all the advantage coming from the offered discount. So proper planning is required. Then another issue is Iranian banks remain heavily sanctioned. There are no clear secure banking channels. Financial documentation processes have not been formalized. So there are great hurdles when it comes to banking and payment channels. So it can be quite risky for Indian refineries to go for immediate purchases of Iranian oil. Financial issues persist. Then there is Russian crude. Since 2022, India's energy import mix contains a large quantity of discounted Russian oil. Russian oil has proven to be extremely important for India's energy security. So a big question arises, when you have a good relationship with Russia and when Russian oil comprises of your giant slice of imports, is it worth it to strain that relationship by taking on a small amount of short-term Iranian oil? Is it worth it? Because of all these reasons, India is not suddenly ramping up Iranian oil purchases. That is why we are not seeing a massive wave of Iranian oil imports right away. India is following a targeted approach. It might focus on a few cargoes that are already afloat in the Gulf to maximize speed, but buying interest will only pick up when payment and shipping logistics clear up. When the risk associated with Iranian oil reduces, only then will India consider scaling up its imports of Iranian LPG and petroleum products. A sustainable return to Iranian oil depends entirely on whether this 60-day window transforms into a durable long-term diplomatic resolution. When the tensions between Iran and the US resolve, and that is not going to be easy.